Someone recently asked also about the reframer on OptimalWork.com, and because it asks a series of questions to help people reframe a challenge that they're facing, and in some ways maybe you would say helps them to set a growth goal in the face of it. And they were asking, hey, can you kind of help us understand the why behind each step or what each step is doing? So can you do a podcast episode on that? So I thought maybe we could kind of combine these two ideas of growth goals and then going in depth into the reframer tool on OptimalWork.com, which is very powerful.
Yeah, that sounds great, Sharif. It was, for me, a big discovery to be doing a deeper dive into the neuroscience and reading things, making sure that the approach that we're showing on OptimalWork is really the most up-to-date. And I'm totally convinced that it is. And one of the things that was clear to me is when we sit down to do a task, it's very easy for us to do things that we've done before the same way that we did them before. So we do them kind of rotely. And that roteness is something to be kind of admired and try to understand it more. Because roteness is it's essentially the primacy of predictions in our behavior. Because when you're doing something rotely, it's that your brain has predicted how you would do it, and then you just go along that. And that has a great benefit, which is that it makes things so much easier to do. So it frees up space for us to be thinking and doing other things and multitasking and all this. So you can kind of sense that while there are good elements to it, and we in fact must have it, there is a danger too, though, right? What happens then when life becomes rote, when our job becomes rote, or our dealings with people, like in our family, becomes rote, that's the real danger. And so what I came to see is that there's one way out of it. And then that's that you have to treat the next instance of doing something as being different than the previous ones. And the magical word I discovered is unique. So unique, just using that word in your mind, gives you permission to let go of all of the predictions about how you'd normally do something. So, and you start to ask yourself, like, that's why the first question in the reframer is, how is this giving me a unique opportunity to grow? And so I think that is where I would want to say that was in some sense, it just brought it, again, really strongly home to me that that's so essential to what we do in optimal work.
Can we work with an example a little bit just to understand what's going on here? Because a lot of these books, that you read on habits, like Atomic Habits, they say, hey, it's really good for you to just get into this pattern where your brain has learned exactly how to do things. Like they give the example maybe of brushing your teeth. Like once you figure out how to brush your teeth or tie your shoes, you don't want to have to think about it again. It's great that your brain just somehow has this action coded up, and as soon as you want to tie your shoes, boom, they're tied and you didn't have to think too much about it. So are you suggesting that every time we tie our shoes, we should always be thinking of how can I make this a unique shoe tying event, that I want to do it in a different way every single time, or you wouldn't apply it to kind of a trivial example like that?
I think if a person has a strong enough connection to ideals that they could actually aim for the ideal while tying their shoes, that person would be truly great. So I think that would take a greatness of heart to be able to go down to the smallest actions like that and to bring some ideal into them. And ultimately, only the very highest ideals can be applied to the even smallest actions. I mean, some ideals like punctuality, that's just not going to apply at all. So, and then others, but my guess is that if someone was really loving, they could find a way to do it lovingly.